job is I am the guitar technician for the Epica Vision of Atlantis blues review. I fix guitars and take care of them and make sure everything's working correctly. Amps, guitars, and everything else stringed on the tour.
Okay, so you do like the tuning beforehand?
Do tunings, do setups, do, yeah, that's basically it. String changes, amp setups, you know, check volumes, make sure everything's cool. Make sure everything's working and try to find problems before they happen. And so everybody has a nice show. Trying to find things that are going to break before they break, like I just said. What else? Challenges. Getting along with everybody. Making sure everybody's happy with the way things are, because artists are very, what's the right word? They're very sensitive people. And they like things to be the way that they like them, and if they're not, they get a little upset. So, but these guys are very easy. So. How did I get into this? I don't know. I've been a musician for 20 years and just kind of learned how to fix things on my own because I never had a tech, and got really into guitar work and instrument repair, and just had some friends that are into it. I had a friend that worked for The Offspring and for like Meredith Brooks and Sheryl Crow, and another friend who's got a big gig with Kiss, and I just kind of guilty by association. So they moved to LA. We all grew up in New York together, and they live in LA. I moved to LA, and we started working. They started getting me jobs. So. I got a phone call last year. My brother, because I play too, my brother was my tour manager in a band, and he toured a lot, and I mostly worked around Los Angeles doing stuff like this, and studios and whatever. And he called me because we had a friend who was a LD, a lighting technician, who needed some crew. So a friend of ours couldn't do the tour with Camelot and Epica last year because he got hired by Foreigner for way more money. And so he called me and said, "You want to do this for 3 weeks?" And I was like, sure. You know, so I'm not really a drum tech, but I'll go out and do drums. I did drums on the last tour, drums and keys. Okay. So I said, you know, so sure. So you want to come out and hang out with me for 3 weeks? I said, yeah, okay. So I went out and did it, and it was a nightmare. And but I became really good friends with these guys, and they called me again for this year. So it depends on your deal. Sometimes you get paid weekly, sometimes you get paid lump sum for the whole amount, sometimes you get paid, you know, cash. Everything's, you know, I claim everything. I do. But, you know, sometimes it's just cash, or sometimes you get paid by the management company. They'll send you a check after the tour, or, you know, after the work. So, yeah. It depends on the band, you know. If you're going out with a smaller band, obviously they don't have the budget, you know, but Epica seems to have the budget this time. I don't know how, but they do. You know, because it's kind of a bare bones tour. You know, there's a lot of small clubs and such. So yeah, it depends on the band. You know, I've worked for The Offspring before, and they're a bigger. You know, that was the last gig I did was Offspring, and it was, you know, it's a management company that takes care of it, and it's, you know, it's excellent money every day, and a lot of times you're just sitting around doing nothing, but they just want you there in case something breaks down, and you know, they don't have to worry about it. So
all right.
It's peace of mind. They're buying peace of mind. I'm like insurance. So yeah. I'm like Allstate. I'm the good hands. Just know what you're doing. If you're going to get into this, know what you're doing, because there'll be guys that will be on you constantly to know your job, or trying to do your job better than them, and always try to be one step ahead of the artist, because if you stay one step ahead of the artist, you won't have a problem. You'll be called back. You know, big thing in this business is referrals. And if you're good at one job, if you're good at one place, your first band you work for, you're making $500 a week working for them. Well, if you get recurring work with them, that's good for your resume, and then you'll move on to bigger bands like Kiss and Offspring that I mentioned earlier, and make, you know, in the $2,000 to $3,000 a week range, which is more money sometimes than working in a bank, or, you know, working as an insurance agent, or whatever. You know, go to college. Go to college, yeah, because a lot of people, and I can't really stress it enough, because a lot of people get into this and they think, you know, they come out of high school. I was one of those people. I get out of high school and I was like, I'm gonna be a rock star, you know, and I'm not gonna worry about going to school, because why should I? Because I'm gonna just do, you know, I'm gonna get out, I'm gonna play, and that's all I'm gonna do. But what they don't seem to understand is that, you know, music is a business, and if you don't want to get chewed up and spit out, you should, you know, take the business classes and take the music classes and, you know, marketing classes and economics and all that, because you know, you're going to have to, you know, do your taxes on the money you make, or the government will come after you, or, you know, you have to, you know, you have to make a living. And you know, when you're 22 and 23 years old and you're running around the country in a van, you know, everybody's, you know, sharing food out of one can of Chef Boyardee, and you're not eating for 2 days. It's great. But when you get to be, you know, 29, 30, 31, 35, it gets a little old, you know. And if you want to have a career in this, the more educated you are and the smarter, you know, you are in this business, the further you'll go. So, you know, it's not all about just getting on stage and, you know, rocking out and whatever it is and playing. It's not, you know, because a lot of people say, man, I just want to play, man, I don't want to deal with all that, you know. Well, if you don't want to deal with all that, the guy who's dealing with all that is going to be buying the mansion, and you're going to be living in a studio apartment and eating at the soup kitchen. So
yeah, true.
So you got to be smart. It's a business like anything else. It's just like running a liquor store or running I don't know, an insurance company. You know, it's the same deal. So.